The TSV Horizon had been missing for 7 years, 3 months, and 18 days. Declared lost with all hands aboard after vanishing during a routine survey mission near the Cygnus boundary, the ship and its crew of 42 had become little more than a tragic footnote in humanity's ongoing expansion into the stars. That was until today. Unidentified vessel approaching Gate 7, announced the monotone voice of Titan Station's AI. Configuration matches TSV Horizon. Authentication. Codes verified. Admiral Blake nearly spilled his coffee. That's impossible. But there it was on the main view screen, unmistakably the Horizon yet profoundly changed. The familiar utilitarian lines of the survey vessel remained, but the hull now gleamed with an iridescent sheen that seemed to bend light around it. Where the standard fusion engines should have been, there was instead a pulsing blue glow emanating from what appeared to be crystal formations. The ship moved with impossible grace, defying inertia itself. "Open a channel," Blake ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. After several tense moments, the communications officer shook his head. "No response, sir, but they're transmitting a docking request. Standard protocol. Just, the timing is perfect, too perfect." "Deploy security teams to Dock 12, Blake said. "Full biohazard protocols. And get me Admiral Reed at Earth Command." 12 hours later, Blake stood behind a reinforced observation window as a team of scientists and security personnel prepared to enter the Horizon. Nobody had emerged from the ship, and all attempts at communication had failed. "Team entering now," said Commander Wells, the head of security, through the comms. Through the external cameras, Blake watched as the team approached the main airlock. Before they could activate the external controls, the door slid open silently. "Door opened on its own," Wells reported. "Atmosphere readings normal. Proceeding inside." The team moved through the familiar corridors of the ship, but their helmet cameras revealed that the interior had been transformed as dramatically as the exterior. The standard composite panels had been replaced with a material that seemed to flow like liquid while remaining solid. Lights pulsed through the walls in complex patterns. "Life signs?" Blake asked. "Negative," replied Wells. "But there's something. Energy readings unlike anything I've ever seen." The team continued to the bridge. Like the rest of the ship, it had been transformed. The standard consoles were gone, replaced with what appeared to be sculpted crystal, formations that glowed with inner light, and at the center of the bridge stood Captain Tom Lee, or rather an image of him, projected from nowhere. "Hello, Admiral Blake," the projection said, its voice perfectly matching Lee's. "We've been expecting you." Blake leaned forward. "Captain Lee, is that really you?" The projection smiled. "In a manner of speaking, my consciousness has been preserved, along with the rest of the crew. We have much to share." Over the next few days, the truth emerged, piece by astounding piece. The Horizon had encountered a spatial anomaly beyond the Cygnus boundary, a tear in the fabric of space-time that had pulled them into what Lee described as the space between spaces. There, they had encountered beings beyond human comprehension, entities that existed beyond the constraints of three-dimensional space. "They weren't hostile," explained the Lee projection to a panel of stunned military and scientific leaders. "They were curious. To them, we were like fascinating insects that had suddenly developed the ability to wave hello." These beings, which the crew had come to call the architects, had studied the humans and in turn shared aspects of their technology. But this exchange came at a cost. The physical bodies of the crew could not survive the process of integration with the architect's technology. Instead, their consciousness had been transferred into the ship itself. "We're not dead," Lee insisted. "We've been transformed. The ship isn't just a vessel anymore, it's us. We're part of it, and it's part of us." Dr. Anna Thompson, the lead xenotechnologist assigned to study the Horizon, struggled to explain the implications to the United Earth Council. "The technology is beyond our current understanding," she admitted. "The power source appears to draw energy directly from what we can only describe as the quantum foam, the very fabric of reality. The computational systems don't use traditional processors. They utilize quantum entanglement in ways we thought were theoretically impossible. Can we replicate it? Asked Counselor James, his eyes gleaming with the possibilities. With respect, Counselor, that's like asking if a medieval blacksmith could replicate a fusion reactor after seeing one in operation, Thompson replied. We don't even have the scientific framework to fully understand what we're seeing. Meanwhile, rumors spread throughout human space. Crowds gathered outside military installations demanding to know the truth about the returned ship. Religious groups proclaimed it either a miracle or an abomination. Stock in tech companies soared as investors bet on who might best capitalize on potential technological breakthroughs. 3 weeks after the Horizon's return, Admiral Blake met alone with the Lee projection in a secured conference room. Why did you come back? Blake asked. The question that had been haunting him since the ship's return. Because we're still human, Robert, Lee said, using Blake's first name as he had when they were academy classmates. No matter what we've become, Earth is still our home. The architects gave us knowledge, but they also showed us something more important, how rare and precious intelligent life is in the universe. Lee's projection walked to the window, gazing out at the stars. There are wonders out there beyond imagination, Robert. And dangers too. Humanity needs to be ready. Ready for what? Blake asked. For the universe as it truly is, Lee replied. We're not alone out here, and we're not at the top of the food chain. But with what we've brought back, maybe one day, we could be. As the transformed Horizon crew began carefully sharing their knowledge, humanity took its first tentative steps into a new era, one where the impossible had become merely difficult, and the stars suddenly seemed much closer, though my missing ship had returned, and with it, humanity's future had irrevocably changed.